Hi everyone, good evening. I hope all of you are hale and hearty, safe and sanitized. I take this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome all of you to our episode on how to become a great TEDx speaker. Now, to begin with, it's a cheerful welcome that I bring to all of you, boys and girls, with the hopes, dreams, and aspirations that we all share. First of all, thank you so much. I profusely express my gratitude to all of you for joining in and for making all our episodes a roaring success. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Coupled with this, I would also like to express my gratitude to each one of you for your unflinching support, comments, feedback, and consistency in watching our episodes. Coupled with this, as you all know that we go live from Monday to Friday, 7:15 p.m. IST. And in these 40 minutes, I basically walk you through some ideas behind public speaking. I share with you some sure shot and fireproof ideas on how to become a better public speaker. And PlanetSpark TV basically believes in the idea of articulation. We believe that public speaking is nothing but the art of converting your communication into articulation. Also reminds me of what a very prominent public speaker, Mr. Peter Jordan, had once said. He said that the most articulated speech is the highest faculty of human being. That means if you really want to amp up your human faculties, your skill sets, you need to be starting off with the part of articulation, with articulated communication. And that I believe is also the need of the hour. And that is something that we actually deal with in these episodes titled How to Become a Great TEDx Speaker. I am your host, ladies and gentlemen, Swaima Ahmed. By profession, I happen to be an entrepreneur, a public speaker, a soft skills trainer, an event manager, and also a TEDx speaker. I have delivered a TEDx talk titled Becoming Forever Fierce, which is all about some practical, important ideas on how to become confident in your everyday life. Coupled with this, my dear participants, we have almost completed 30 plus episodes in this in this series. And in the last 35 episodes, as you all know that, I walked you through the fundamentals of a TEDx talk. We have been discussing the three fundamentals, namely the opening minute. Number two is your big purpose. And number three is your personal touch. We have been exploring different themes and different topics, technical, non-technical, world issues, local issues in general. And we try composing or drafting speeches based on different themes. And theme-based content is actually what makes these episodes so much more practical, lively, and impactful. Now, basically, we need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that while you're delivering a TEDx talk, your TEDx talk could actually be an informative speech you're delivering. Maybe you're informing your audience about something. It could also be a persuasive speech. Maybe you're persuading your audience for something. Maybe you want to inspire them, encourage them, motivate them, maybe help them reconsider the decision, or maybe simply invigorate them to do something. So your TEDx speech could either be an informative speech, it could also be a persuasive speech, or your TEDx speech can also be an entertaining speech, simply entertaining your viewers and audience. So one of these could be your TEDx speeches. Coupled with this, my dear participants, I would like you to understand the fact that these episodes help you in innumerable ways. Number one, they give you some practical tips on how to become a better conversationalist, how to become a better communicator in your everyday life by not just structuring your thoughts systematically, but by also learning some do's and don'ts of speaking. Coupled with this, what we actually need to understand at this junction is that there are plethora of benefits that come along with public speaking. If you're someone who's working at becoming a better speaker, let's understand there are umpteen number of benefits that you can derive from this decision of becoming a better speaker, and especially when you start working towards this mission. Number one is that you develop your critical thinking ability. When you're actually learning how to speak up, you're also learning how to think on your feet, learning how to think about various issues, multifarious issues on the spot. You are also thinking about the practical, tangible solutions. So problem solving is one of the many critical thinking abilities that you will develop while you are planning or working towards becoming a better speaker, because you have to think about the negative and the positive consequences about a problem that you're about to discuss with your audience, which means critical thinking skill is something that comes with public speaking. The second one, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call fine tuning your verbal and non-verbal skills. While learning public speaking, ladies and gentlemen, you also learn how to fine tune your verbal, that means your power of words, and fine tune your non-verbal communication ability as well. Non-verbal basically would mean your voice, your vocal ability, as well as your body language, your visual ability. So that's something we learn along with public speaking. So number one, critical thinking. Number two, we also learn how to amp up or ameliorate our verbal, non-verbal skills. Coupled with this, we learn how to overcome stage fear. So we all know that a plethora of people in the world suffer from the PSA, the public speaking anxiety or public speaking apprehension. With rigorous practice, with proper coaching and guidance, my dear participants, we learn how to overcome the public speaking anxiety or the public speaking fear, stage fright. In other words, it's also called glossophobia, the extreme fear of public speaking. Coupled with this, ladies and gentlemen, we also need to understand that there are some more fringe benefits that come along with you becoming an effective, competent, and a charismatic public speaker. Number one, you learn, you become more influential, right? You start influencing the world around you, because as strong communicators, you earn more respect. People tend to listen to you more, you become more persuasive, and that's the reason why you become far more influential in your social orbit. Number two, you develop leadership skills. In today's day and age, it's said that communication skill happens to be the number one soft skill that you need to climb the corporate ladder. And that's the reason why leadership skills and communication skills go hand in hand. Coupled with this, my dear participants, it helps you become a thought leader, someone who's able to think independently, think freely, and is able to express the ideas effectively. Is someone we consider as a thought leader. In fact, the business gurus call it intellectual capital. People who are able to actually think about a particular topic in a certain way and express the same with alacrity and clarity. That's intellectual capital. So these are some of the innumerable benefits that come along when you become an effective public speaker. Now, time for us to get started, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the episode titled How to Deliver a Great TEDx Talk and Eventually Dazzle Your Audience with Your Oratory Skills. I would like to request all my viewers right now to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And I'm sure the kind of content we share with you will definitely add value to your skill sets and take your speaking game to the next level. Now, what do we have in store for you today? So as you see on the screen right now, we have some exciting things lined up for all of you, boys and girls. I'm going to be starting my session with an icebreaker. So we'll get to know each other better. I'm going to ask you some simple questions. All you've got to do is put on your thinking cap, make a guess, and share your answers in the comment section. I'm going to be discussing with you about the fundamentals of a TED Talk. The 3 fundamentals, we'll be discussing them and I'll be explaining them to you in detail. We'll be having some games like Who Said This, Fastest Fingers. I'm going to ask you some questions at the end under the category of Think Smart. I'm going to be summarizing the whole session at the end. And I have some bonuses as well for you, boys and girls. The first bonus is that I'm going to share words with you that you can easily add to your vocabulary. I'm going to be sharing some expert tips as well with you. And at the end, I'm going to give you a video recommendation as well. Now, let's begin with the icebreakers. Now, based on the images, all you've got to do is think about what these images represent. All right, here we go. Here's the first image for you. Let's see what you've got to say for this. Yes, boys and girls, what do you think does this image represent? I would love to see your comments in the comment section on both Facebook as well as YouTube. All right, as some of you have actually guessed it, it is an iPad or a tablet. What does this image represent? Yes, boys and girls, what does this image represent? So I think some of you have actually guessed it again. That's a remote control. Moving on to the third one. Let's see what appliance or instrument does this represent. Irrefutably, that is actually a vacuum cleaner. All right, okay, now participants, let's talk about the three fundamentals of a TED Talk. All right, the first fundamental, as you see on the screen, is a strong opening. So how do you define a strong opening? A strong opening basically is defined as an opening that's solid, audience engaging, eye opening, and also memorable. And how do we do that? We do that by probably beginning with a question, by starting off with quotes, with some catchy lines, with a proper lucid introduction, with some positive lines. We also add some some eye-opening facts to the intro, and that's how we make it fun and appealing. The second one is a big purpose. Now, the big purpose is all about incorporating the importance of the topic while you are communicating. So, importance of the topic, sharing different dimensions based on the topic, and eventually sharing a summary at the end, bringing it all together. The third one, ladies and gentlemen, is a personal touch, which is all about incorporating your personal experiences, your personal anecdotes, and more importantly, your opinions on the given topic. So these are the three fundamentals for TED Talk. Now, introducing you to the theme that we are currently dealing with. So as you all know, in the last two episodes, we've dealt with the theme, the revolution of technology. Now, before we start drafting our speech on the third theme, the third pillar, let's quickly understand what do we mean by the revolution of technology. So as you see on the screen right now, that's the definition of revolution of technology. So technological revolution is a period by which one or more technologies is replaced by another, normal technology in a short span of time. It is an era of accelerated technological progress characterized by diffusion, by new innovations, whose rapid application and diffusion typically cause an abrupt change in the society. One of the defining features of this new era is the rapid pace of technological change. It is so fast that people are referring to it as a technological revolution. This revolution is unlike any previous one in history, and it will affect us all in ways we cannot even begin to imagine. Right, so that's exactly the definition of a technological revolution. And the exciting news, boys and girls, is that we will be using this theme to draft our third fundamental, that is a personal touch. So introducing you finally to our agenda for the day. We will be dealing with the third fundamental, that is a personal touch, and we will be drafting a talk based on the personal touch on the theme, the technological revolution. Now, the personal touch basically, ladies and gentlemen, comprises of three essentials, three elements, three aspects. And what are these three elements? Number one, your personal experience. Number two, an anecdote. Number three, an ideal idol. I'm going to explain all these three essentials to you in detail with examples, so please stay tuned with me. Let's begin with the first essential without any ado. The first essential is your personal experience. So how do you actually share your personal experience while talking to the audience? Let's understand this, boys and girls. Number one, please understand that every time you share your personal experience with the audience, you basically give your speech a story-like connect. Because sharing your experience is like a short story that you share with them. Sometimes you don't really have an experience to share. You can also share your opinion, your vista, or what you feel about the given topic. The second one is that it adds so much more emotional weightage to what you say. All right. So when you're sharing your personal experience, boys and girls, you're sharing your emotion, you're basically sharing something very passionately, something from your personal life. And therefore, it adds emotional weightage, which indirectly increases your credibility as a speaker. The audience is able to place trust in what you say. All right. Now let's consider an example. So I'm going to give you an example of how to incorporate a personal experience or a personal opinion while dealing with a particular topic. Here we go. Here's the personal experience for you, ladies and gentlemen. I have worked in the technological industry since the very early days of personal computers and have experienced generations of conferencing options. In the beginning, there was voice-only conferencing via telephone. Then came video broadcasts over large networks or satellite connections, but only to those sitting in large conference rooms. With the advent of personal computers and a build out of networks, video conferencing came into the home with applications such as Skype, Facebook, FaceTime, Hangouts as well. This is a wonderful development that allows people to connect with each other even over the miles. Coupled with this, you can also continue sharing that my 83-year-old parents are able to Skype with me even though we are 700 miles apart. This gives them a chance to basically reach out beyond their home and basically have a conversation, and gives me a chance to reconnect and ensure their well-being. You can actually continue with this, saying that during the time of pandemic, when our lives were at hold, we feared to step out. The government provided us with apps that basically allowed us to report any COVID patient near us who needed medical assistance. And the next thing we saw was a Red Cross team at our doorsteps. Apart from this, ordering groceries and other essentials were available at our fingertips, and news from all over the globe were provided to us by the greatness of technology. So this is how you highlight your personal experiences. So we've covered three experiences here. Number one, how video conferencing has changed and evolved over the years. We talked about how you can stay connected with your loved ones simply with the enormity of technology. And number three, we talked about how technology proved to be a game changer, and it's been so helpful for all of us, especially during these tough times of pandemic. Moving on, boys and girls, let me quickly have this game with you called Who Said This? I'm going to share some quotes with you from technology, from science and technology. All you've got to do is listen to the quotes properly and probably memorize them, or maybe jot them down so that you can use them the next time you are speaking to someone about the power of technology. All right, so let's continue. The first quote I have for you is here. For me, it matters that we drive technology as an equalizing force, as an enabler for everyone around us. Well, that's a quote by Sundar Pichai. Once again, for me, it matters that we drive technology as an equalizing force, as an enabler for everyone around the world. What a noble thought that is. Moving on, Stone Age, Bronze Age, Iron Age. We define entire epics of humanity by the technology they use. Once again, Stone Age, Bronze Age, and Iron Age. We define entire epics of humanity by the technology they use. This is yet another powerful, witty quote by Reed Hastings. Let's have the third one now. Engineering is the closest thing to magic that exists in the world. Engineering is the closest thing that exists to magic in the world. That's a quote by Elon Musk. Well, and he absolutely is an embodiment of what he said. Okay, boys and girls, now moving on to the second essential of personal touch, that is an anecdote. We need to understand the anecdote that you use, boys and girls, should be relevant to the topic. In case you're planning to incorporate anecdotes, then make sure that it's very relevant to the topic. And number two, your anecdote needs to be well positioned. You can't have back-to-back speeches, back-to-back stories like your personal experience and anecdote and then your role model story. No, you need to actually position them in a way that they sound authentic and they sound well positioned. All right. Let me give you an example of how an anecdote can be. Anecdote. What is an anecdote, by the way? It's basically a short story from the life of a famous personality, or a short story from your own life, or something that you've heard from someone around. So, for example, a middle-aged lady lived in my neighborhood alone. She spent her time in cooking. One day, my sister recorded her cooking videos and uploaded them on Instagram and YouTube. The videos went viral, and today the lady owns a small takeaway restaurant and people actually wait in queues to taste her meals. She is now earning well, has a lot of friends, and is flaunting her popularity well with my sister being her PR manager. Right, so that's something that I'm sure all of us can share when talking about technology, because we've seen how technology can be a guiding light, a lighthouse, It could actually give you a fillip in terms of your affluence, name, fame, talent, and skill set at the same time. So you can always share some such anecdotes with your audience. Let me quickly give you a word that you can add to your vocabulary now, boys and girls. And the word is automation. What is the meaning of automation? It basically means the use or introduction of automatic equipment in a manufacturing or other process of facility. That's the meaning of automation. Let me also give you a sentence to help you understand the meaning of it. The sentence is unemployment due to spread of automation. All right. Moving on, boys and girls, let's have the fastest fingers right now. I'm going to ask you some questions based on revolution of technology, and let's see if you're able to answer them in yes or no. The first question here for you. Is the revolution of technology limited to only cyber zone? What do you think? No, it's not right. Because we know revolution of technology is basically an amalgamation of so many things coming together, from internet to computers to devices to technology to the way we connect to almost everything under the technological sphere. The next question, boys and girls, is are there ethics of using the internet? Ethics, moral values, guidelines? And we all know that yes, we do have ethics for using the internet. Let me share an expert tip with you, boys and girls. Whenever you share an anecdote with your audience, please remember your anecdote needs to be brief. It needs to be to the point. And remember, you're not boring your audience with your story. All right? You need not bore your audience with your story. Now, moving on to my third essential, ladies and gentlemen, an ideal idol. It simply means sharing the story of any motivational figure, someone you look up to, someone that the world looks up to, and you share the story which is relevant to the theme given to you. So in this context, we can share the story of Justin Bieber, the magical musician. And it goes this way. Justin Bieber, 13 years, performed on the street of Stratford, Ontario, in August 2007. His mom posted videos of him singing on YouTube, and it soon caught the eye of the record executive Scooter Braun. Pop star Justin Bieber, one of the world's best-selling music artists, has been in the limelight for much of the past decade, and we all know it, right? Before long, he was actually selling out stadiums across the globe while gaining millions of followers on social media. 2005, so Justin Bieber in the saddle, this time with his incredibly popular album named Purpose, which served as tracks including What Do You Mean, Sorry, Love Yourself, which we are NGL, and we still have on repeat on this day. Talking literally, ladies and gentlemen, no break whatsoever. Justin dove right back in and released his third album, Believe, with the huge first single, Boyfriend, and other bangers, As Long As You Love Me and Beauty and a Beat with Nicki Minaj. His second tour started in 2012, rehearsing for 10 hours a day with his crew and dancers and playing over 150 shows across America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia. And the tour grossed over $100 million across 2 years. So that basically gives us, a glimpse of how internet happened to be a boon for Justin Bieber, and for that matter, for any artist, any influencer who really wants to make the most of the social media platform, or for that matter, any technological advancement. Now, before I actually come to the conclusion of the summary, boys and girls, let me actually give you a TEDx video that I want to recommend all of you to watch. And the video. So basically, there are umpteen number of videos available on YouTube on technology, and I know it's going to be difficult for us to actually pick up one that we would like to watch. And therefore, I want to recommend something to you. And here is my recommendation, boys and girls. The rise of technology in the African innovation ecology. That's the topic I'm suggesting. That's the TEDx talk. That is my suggestion for you, my recommendation for you. The link is in the chat box, boys and girls. Please ensure that you watch it before tomorrow's episode. Now, in today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, we talked at length about the third basically fundamental of a TED talk. Number one is the opening minute. Number two is a big purpose. And number three is a personal touch. And today, the focus was on personal touch based on the theme, the technological revolution. And since we are done with the third fundamental, tomorrow we will come up with yet another topic, which I'm sure is going to be insightful and mind blowing at the same time. So, under personal touch, I basically taught you the meaning of experiences, anecdotes, and ideal idol. How do you incorporate these three elements in your talk or in your presentation? Your experiences, an anecdote, and also an ideal idol. Now, in tomorrow's episode, my dear participants, we will be introducing you to a new topic, that is the importance and scope of creativity. Well, I'm sure that's going to be something intriguing and exciting for all of you. That's the topic, and we will be learning this topic under the light of the fundamentals of a TED Talk. I will be teaching this topic to you basically, starting from number one, the opening minute or a strong opening, and then we'll move on to a big purpose, and then we move on to number three, a personal touch. And since you see the topic on the screen right now, the importance and scope of creativity, we will be deconstructing this topic with different definitions, and all the games that we play, boys and girls, actually help you strengthen your ideas on the topic or the theme that we've chosen. So I take this moment to thank all of you for joining in. I'm going to catch you tomorrow, boys and girls. Till then, please stay tuned with us and do catch me tomorrow at 7:15 p.m. so that I get a chance to impact and inspire your lives in ways unimaginable. Thank you so much once again, and I will see you tomorrow at the same time. Till then, please take care, stay well, and have a peaceful night. Thank you, everyone.